Hello everyone, this is Five Spiders here with another video today. Today we are going into the character Starscream from the Shattered Glass comics. Today, the Shattered Glass continuity, it is a series of events of what if characters in the Transformers series fight in the good and evil are reversed. Starscream is a character that fascinates me of how much writers can change and bend his character, yet keeping his core values for more than 40 years at this point. In all the versions of Starscream, he wants to understand ancient Cybertron and the universe. However, when the war broke out in Cybertron, it is likely that in all universes, Starscream saw one of many Megatron public appearances, and he was influenced by Megatron's words, and he willingly joined the Decepticons with no hesitation. Due to his own selfish personality, his mean attitude came around when Megatron personally made Starscream his second-hand command. He is happy that all the work that he has done has been received back to him, as he wears it like a badge. But in the long run, he ruined his relationships who originally respected him, like the Seekers he commanded and his old friend Jetfire. This seems the abridged version of all the versions of Starscream has to go. Granted, there's a lot of personality shifts, such as in Prime, where all the Seekers but him are dead, or in the animated universe where Starscream has to become the main villain role, because Megatron did not appear for most of the show. That's seemingly the only explanation to Starscream's character, specifically Generation 1 Starscream. I can't say for all Starscreams so far in the series of all the continuity, but so far this is the average story of Starscream. If there's a different timeline where Jetfire did stand up for his beliefs and save his friend from becoming Megatron's second-hand command, then there'd be a different timeline where Starscream never joined Megatron. I will go through the IDW comics of the Shattered Glass continuity of his character. It is likely the first comic people are going to find and read. Comic books, in my opinion, are really hard to find to keep up with the community, as it takes more than in my opinion, it takes more than 8 videos to talk about Green Lantern comics, specifically Hal Jordan's timeline, and it's very confusing without using a continuity guide and order list, as it gets confusing during the events such as the Emerald Knights arc, the Spectre arc, the 2005 Blackest Night, Blackest Day, the New 52's Rebirth, G5, etc. Oh, why we're still here, right? Well, anyways, it is very hard for a person who knows the character as a pop culture perspective, and someone like me dumping this on someone who is new to comics. It's like the same experience as bringing someone to an old vintage shop. It is overwhelming to someone who doesn't know a character and what that character stands for. That's why a lot of people get confused with the most popular character like Superman. People who don't know Superman but know him as a pop icon, they see Superman as a god or a savior in the Man of Steel movies with Henry Cavill. The DC comic book universe is the idea of gods living amongst men. Well, you can at least tell from one comic of Superman's character hasn't really changed much since his debut. His core values of protecting people, his home that he was raised in, his chill personality, you don't see him as a god, but someone you just either that pass by the streets or randomly just have small talk with him. Technically, if you're having a bad day, you would have a cup of coffee with him, and he won't judge you. Superman listens to you. As a starter to getting into comics, I wouldn't even recommend getting into the character with context, as most people recommend reading and watching the movies such as All-Star Superman. That is not how I recommend who Superman is. I recommend either watching the Justice League animated TV show from 2001 before you even dipping your toes in any of the comics. Even I won't recommend the Batman comics to newcomers. So let's talk about Shattered Glass Starscream. SG Starscream is almost about the same as G1 Starscream, as he shares the same intelligence as he is a scientist, strategist, and creativity. He is second-hand command to Megatron, and he's very loyal. The difference is that he's quite happier and more cheerful than his normal G1 counterpart. Even when Megatron has already lost faith to bring the good back to the universe, Starscream is always there with Megatron and really supports him. He may blindly put his faith, but he never gives up in his beliefs that good will come and balance out evil. That is why he still believes in the cause to fight. He needs Megatron to lead once again. Even though in Megatron's eyes, he doesn't understand why Starscream is optimistic. Starscream knows if everyone works together, they might win. And during the events of Issue 1, we see that the Autobots have won against the fight of the Decepticons, and it has now ruled over it. Megatron is now in hiding from Optimus Prime, and he has a bounty on him, as well as the other Cybertronians who join his side like Starscream has. Blur talks to Ratchet and says that they found a sighting of Starscream, and he is a pretty high bounty, which interests Blur. As Chromodome and Hardhead, who are body scrappers, they were on Starscream's tail. Hardhead was able to get a shot at his wing so he can't fly. Blur was interested in the bounty as he is jealous that they caught up to him and is getting the thrill of the hunt. However, he knows that Starscream has no rest, or he thought he was dead. He wants to know how Starscream fights as he is Megatron's second-hand command. Thus, he blocked Chromodome's attack, and because, of course, Starscream is his prey of getting caught. Knowing Starscream's intelligence, he knows Blur is playing around with him, even though Blur assists him to get out of the fight from Chromodome and Hardhead. Starscream knows he won't follow Blur, as he knows he will fall in a trap, and which is Blur's intention to bring to Goldbug willingly. Starscream had enough of their small talk. Starscream says to Blur, "It's either that you side with the Autobots, or you're against them." Blur, being over-arrogant, challenged Starscream, as the place that they're in are surrounded by volcanoes. Starscream also challenged him if he can outrun Blur, which the fight goes into Starscream's favor. Blur calls him, during the fight, an outdated seeker. While Starscream calls back on him, he is a classic seeker, by calling him a junk heap. Starscream outthinks Blur as they will trap Blur in molten lava, as he cannot escape. In Issue 2, staying around the night to make sure that Blur hasn't escaped his lava encasing, he comes back to Megatron and telling him what happened. Megatron scolds Starscream for coming to him directly. Being exhausted from his injuries from the fight from Blur and the other body scrappers, Starscream didn't care about coming to Megatron as he is his second-hand command. He will always be loyal to him regardless if he pushes him away. Starscream faints into Megatron's arms while calling him a fool, and carries him to his secret hideout while healing his injuries, as he just feels sorry and wipes all the dirt and giving aid to him. He is very nice to give him rest. Starscream thinks back of the good old days where he asked Megatron to be his second-hand command, even though he's a scientist, not a warrior. Starscream believed in Megatron's words the first time they met, and wanted to follow them. Megatron stopped believing his words a long time ago, but Starscream reminds him, as he believes it, Megatron's dreams will come true. Starscream still lived on because of Megatron's words, because it saved him, so he wants to encourage Megatron to lead again. In Issue 3 is a flashback of when he was friends with Jetfire, as the two talk with each other about the future on Cybertron, while also learning the Cybertron history through the Titans. Starscream knows the growing sense the war will come, as Orion Prax is power-hungry and figures out he is a tyrant. He becomes inspired by one of Megatron's speeches while they were discussing funds with Orion Prax, as Orion was about to fund the two so they can communicate with the Titans and gain power. Starscream's spark is special as he is able to communicate with the Titans, but gets an extra power from them. Orion was ready to give the funds to the pair, but Starscream's suspicious on Orion's actions. Jetfire went behind his back to meet with Orion anyways, not realizing that Starscream was listening in, and his worst fears came true that Orion Prax is a tyrant. During the events of issue 4, it is revealed that Starscream's spark is special. With this spark, he can communicate with the Titans and gather information on the truth. However, there was a Minicon communication-type transformer secretly listening to Megatron, and Megatron noticed. Megatron gave himself away so Starscream can escape, captured Starscream, and brought him to the torture chambers to interrogate Starscream in front of Jetfire. Goldbug tells Jetfire to rip out Starscream's spark, as it needs to be done, but Jetfire says they need information to how connect to the Titans. Skywarp was ordered by Megatron to save Starscream. However, Goldbug easily defeated him. Goldbug wanted to use this opportunity to break Starscream's spirit by bringing in Skywarp's head. He taunts him that Megatron will not save him. Even though he follows the ways of the Autobots, he can't ignore his friend Starscream. He unshackles Starscream, and he promises he will do his job in order to communicate with the Titans. The broken-spirited Starscream remembers his last conversation with Jetfire, and before the war happened, he strongly believes that Jetfire had always cared for Starscream, even when Jetfire was on the Autobot side. It's revealed that Jetfire only joined the Autobots in fear that he could lose Starscream. Goldbug becomes furious and tells Starscream he will never leave this place, as this place will be his grave. When Megatron's about to save Starscream, Jetfire gets Starscream back on his feet, and in a short amount of time, Goldbug took his shot at Starscream's back, similar to Skywarp in War for Cybertron trilogy. Jetfire was worried that it hit his spark, and Starscream says he's alright, but in 1 second, Goldbug rips out Starscream's spark, thus killing him. Goldbug leaves with Starscream's spark and taunts Jetfire again that Starscream will never leave. Jetfire's just stunned of what happened as he becomes upset. He showed a moment of weakness, and it almost killed him. All this time, Starscream always believed Jetfire is his friend, but always refusing to see the light, revealing that he is afraid he could never take Starscream when he lended his hand to Jetfire. Jetfire sees Starscream's lifeless body and cradles it, and screams in pain that he wants to be alone from the war and death. Not long after, Megatron watches Jetfire in pain as he takes Starscream's body with him, as he believes it was his fault. Megatron follows Jetfire, stop him with his own body. Jetfire remembers Megatron as he blames him for all this death and war, for Starscream's death. If he never joined the Decepticons, he will never be a soldier in this war. Megatron holds Jetfire back and tells him he was the one who drove Starscream away from himself. And seeing Jetfire feeling pathetic, Starscream had nowhere to go. Megatron tells Jetfire, after all this war and death, Megatron took care of Starscream when Jetfire did not. Jetfire and Megatron discuss how they're going to take back the Gold City with the Decepticons, and will give out the proper memorial for Starscream. Jetfire tells Megatron, as he requests, to make it dramatic. At the end of the Series 1, Starscream is a character that never lost faith in Megatron and Jetfire as he continued the fight in good. He sacrificed himself to save everyone. In Series 2, Issue 3, Starscream's spark is then used in the Metropolitic System. The Metropolitic System is actually trying to merge with him, thus erasing his memories. In the final issue of Series 2, in Issue 5, the Metropolitic System, Soundwave can hear his voice in agony. As at the end of the comic, Soundwave was able to get to the Metroplex chambers and take out Starscream's spark out, and Jetfire takes it quickly as possible out of the city. It could be true that Starscream's body could be repaired and he can come back, but who's to say? Maybe they could make a Shattered Glass 3, how Optimus becomes Nova Prime, like in the previous comic. We won't know until the announcements, so I guess we'll wait until then. Thank you for listening today. I'm glad that you all make it through the video today, as I normally record my voice during off days, and I usually have folks at home. Normally to me, it just looks like I'm crazy, And also my mic can just pick up everything, even airplanes that fly almost every 20 minutes. I hope I can make whatever I can by bringing short videos discussing a series or a character within it. If you have recommendations, just let me know. I will take it in for consideration. Anyways, that's all I have for today, and I'm going to leave. Bye-bye.